the specialized services you provide to seniors and their families, I think are really, really unique. And for most people, they have or many people have a living trust as sort of their baseline estate plan, right? Whether or not you own a home, you can still have a living trust. So how often should somebody have their trust reviewed? Is it after the death of a spouse? Is it upon the sale of a house or move into let's say, a senior community? How often should one talk to your law firm and have those documents reviewed?
That's a great question. Yeah, all of those situations would be good opportunities. Yes, any death in the family, especially if it's a spouse, you would want to go ahead and redo the documents just so that you're not naming someone that's deceased or whatever. And yeah, if you sell property, you definitely want to, with that money, if you sell it and you don't buy a new property, you want to make sure that whatever bank account you're putting $500,000 cash into is named in the trust. Additionally, you would want to retitle a house that's refinanced. And, you don't have to redo your trust if you're refinancing, but it is very important that you know when you're refinancing to talk to the title company about how to title the house properly so that it doesn't go back into your joint tenancy or community property title, because title companies really are not lawyers, and so they don't always just do that automatically. So those are good situations. Every 3 to 5 years is a good opportunity just to kind of touch base with your lawyer and see if any laws have changed, because periodically laws do change in regards to taxes or whatever. So it's a good idea. Just every few years, we try to reach out to clients probably every 3 to 5 years just to say, has anything changed? We want to make sure that you do keep everything titled the way it should be. And, have you had any new grandchildren or children or, that you didn't name as beneficiaries or whatever. It's just a good refresher just to make sure that everything's the way you actually want it to be. So yeah, those are some good opportunities.
Yeah, because in 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, life changes, things happen, and you certainly could modify the trust at any point in time.
Yes.
Correct?
So trust you can change anytime you want. It's a private document. And yeah, you can revoke your whole trust and start a brand new one anytime, yeah.
What does an average trust, and I'm talking about just an average trust, somebody owns a house, maybe has a few bank accounts, what does somebody typically pay for something like that?
So, in the Bay Area, the prices around, it depends if it's a single person versus a married couple. And when we're talking about a trust, we actually refer to it more of as an estate plan, because we do include a whole range of documents within that plan. A trust is one of the documents. So our typical estate plan will include a trust, a will for each spouse, or if this one individual, then it would be one will, a power of attorney for financial, one for each person. So if it's a single person, it's just one. If it's a couple, it's two. An advanced healthcare directive. We also include a HIPAA authorization, which includes all the privacy rules. It gives authority to relatives, family members, friends to just talk to the doctor, not a decision maker, but just get information about your care and the status of your health if you're unable to talk to them yourself. So, you have a grandchild that you want to be able to call the hospital. If you're not able to tell the doctor, yeah, talk to my grandchild, then that gives that authorization. And then we also will do any properties, we'll transfer them into the trust. So we do that in a grant deed or Sometimes we have to do an affidavit death of trustee. Anyway, those are kind of the basic documents that are included in an estate plan. We also put in there a trust certification, which gives the bank institutions or financial institutions just the very basic information about the trust. So it'll give the name of the trust, the date that it was created, and the primary people. So usually in a basic estate plan, it is yourself and or your spouse as trustees. If it's an elder situation where the elder, it's their trust, but their adult child or children are trustees, it would name them that way. So it just gives it's like a 5-page document that's notarized, and then you can give that to the financial institutions. Is much simpler than giving them your 35-page trust.
Right, and I think it's important to say that it gives the client an opportunity to have control over their life while they're still able to have control.
Exactly. So the pricing, it does range. It's hard to say because every situation is different and not every trust is the same. So depending on what the assets are and the whole situation, it can range from about 2,500 to 4,000 is kind of a generic range. And I know that's pretty broad, but without meeting with a client and going over all of those details, it's hard to say specifically and narrow it down.
And that's a fair point, because some people have maybe one house and 2 bank accounts and that's it. Other people might have multiple bank accounts and multiple properties.
Right.
So obviously their tax situation, their estate situation is going to be more complex and more time consuming. But the expertise that's needed is just as important, whether you have no property or whether you have multiple properties. And